Hello, everyone. You can call me Sybil, even though that's not my real name. I regret to inform you that we may have just taken a train ride to somewhere dark, like a dungeon, because what I'm about to talk to you about is serious. This is a space for civil discussion, so even if we disagree, let's try to treat each other with respect. So, back in 1999, the Columbine shooters made it clear they weren't just trying to hurt people. They were trying to leave a legacy. They talked about how their attack would be seen, how people would try to understand it, and how their actions would be remembered. In their basement tapes, Eric Harris says, "When they find the tapes, they'll know who we are and why we did this. We're going to kickstart a revolution." He also talks about how the videos would be played again and again, and how their story would be analyzed long after they were gone. They knew the media would cover it. They planned for it and they wanted it, and tragically, they were right. Journalist Dave Cullen, who spent a decade researching the massacre, described Columbine as one of the most misunderstood events in American history. He explains that the way the story was told, especially in the early days, helped create a kind of dangerous mythology that future shooters would imitate. It wasn't just a mass killing anymore, it became a cultural script. A study by Silva and Kapayan, which looked at mass shootings in the U.S. between 2000 and 2013, found that some shooters weren't just acting out of rage, they were actively seeking fame. They chose highly public locations, staged their attacks for maximum media attention, and often left manifestos or videos behind. In other words, they wanted to be remembered. Gun laws aren't the whole story. People often say other countries have tighter gun laws and they don't have this problem, but here's the thing. The U.S. had looser gun laws long before Columbine, and we didn't see this level of violence back then. Something changed, not just in the law, but in the culture. Over time, Columbine became more than just a tragedy. It took on a mythic status in our collective memory. It shaped how Americans think about school shootings. It became a story we keep repeating, not just in violence itself, but in the language, the symbols, the way we talk about it afterwards. So yes, we can and should debate policy, but to pretend it's only about gun access misses the bigger issue. And remember, banning assault rifles would not have prevented Charlie Kirk's murder. Tyler Robinson used a bolt-action rifle, not an assault weapon, so we have to stop pretending that this is just a legal issue. This is cultural. This is ideological. This is symbolic. Now here's where it gets even more disturbing. In the past year, we've seen a new and deeply symbolic trend emerge. People are engraving messages onto bullets before committing acts of violence. And it didn't start randomly, to my knowledge. Luigi Mangione is among the earliest high-profile cases in recent years where a shooter inscribed words onto ammunition. That doesn't mean he was the first person ever to do it, but he may have helped popularize a method as a form of symbolic violence in modern media coverage. I already said earlier that it seems like he may have started a movement, and this is where that theory becomes more serious. After Mangione came Tyler Robinson, who murdered Charlie Kirk. He engraved his bullets with memes and political slogans, continuing the pattern and drawing even more attention to the messages behind violence. Not long after, a shooter targeting an ice facility marked a bullet casing with the phrase anti-ice. That's 3 separate incidents now, each involving a shooter who can't just kill, but made sure to send a symbolic message through the violence itself. This isn't just violence anymore. It's storytelling, it's branding, and it's dangerously close to becoming a new script for politically motivated attacks, the same way Columbine became the script for school shooters. It's easy to get caught up in political arguments, the left versus the right, pro-gun versus anti-gun, but what's harder is recognizing how these acts become symbolic and how culture helps spread them. Columbine gave school shootings a mythology, And now engraved bullets might be political violence on its own. We're not just watching isolated tragedies, we're watching storytelling through violence, and if that story spreads, it's going to get harder and harder to stop. Thanks for listening, even though I'm in a dungeon right now.